Welcome back to RedPrabh, your movie explanation channel. Today, we're diving into a movie called The Menu, 2022, a dark comedy thriller that turns fine dining into a terrifying experience. The story begins with a couple, Tyler and Margot, waiting for a private boat. They are heading to an exclusive island restaurant owned by the world-famous celebrity chef, Julian. Tyler is extremely excited. He explains to Margot that the dinner costs $5,000 per person for a single meal. Because of that, he tells Margot not to smoke. He says smoking will affect her sense of taste, and she won't be able to properly appreciate Chef Julian's masterpieces. While they are talking, the boat finally arrives. Along with them, several high-profile guests board, a movie star, a food critic, wealthy businessmen, and elite members of society. An older rich man named Richard arrives with his wife. As they board, we notice something strange. Richard and Margot briefly look at each other in a familiar way. It's clear they recognize one another. But how they know each other remains a mystery for now. During the boat ride, the guests are served a small preview dish prepared by Chef Julian. Everyone enjoys it. Soon, the boat reaches a remote private island, the location of Julian's restaurant. All of the guests were personally invited by him to experience his special tasting menu. They are welcomed by Julian's assistant, Elsa. Elsa notices Margot and questions her presence because her name is not on the guest list. Tyler explains that his original date couldn't come, so Margot is with him instead. Elsa then gives everyone a guided tour of the island. They even pass by Chef Julian's private house, a place strictly forbidden to both guests and staff. After the tour, they are taken into the restaurant and seated. Elsa informs everyone that tonight's dishes are extremely special and that Chef Julian himself will introduce each course. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, one of the staff members tries asking a chef about what he is preparing. The chef coldly tells him to return to his station. The atmosphere feels tense and strictly controlled. Soon, Chef Julian makes his entrance. He briefly stares at Margot in an unusual way. Her presence clearly bothers him since she was not part of the original plan. Without addressing her directly, he begins the first course of the evening. First course, amuse-bouche. The first dish is beautifully presented, made with cucumber and milk snow. It looks like a piece of art. Julian tells the guests not to finish it completely. He says it should only be tasted, not eaten entirely, because consuming it fully would destroy its artistic beauty. The guests follow his instructions and lightly taste the dish, praising its presentation. Second course, the island. The next dish is designed to resemble the island itself. Seaweed, scallops, and pickled meat are arranged carefully among decorative stones on the plate. It looks stunning. Most guests are impressed. However, Margot seems uncomfortable with the decorative stones on her plate. She does not share the same excitement. At the same time, Tyler secretly takes pictures of the food despite Elsa previously warning guests not to photograph anything. Third course, breadless bread plate. The third dish surprises everyone. It is called the breadless bread plate. But there is no bread. Only different sauces are served on the plate. Julian explains that bread is considered food for the poor, and therefore he has chosen not to include it. Three businessmen at a nearby table request bread anyway. Elsa firmly refuses. Margot, on the other hand, has barely eaten anything so far. Julian notices this and asks her why she hasn't tasted the courses properly. Margot calmly responds that she hasn't found a single dish she truly feels like eating. She says she does not want to consume food that feels strange or uncomfortable to her. After Julian leaves, Margot again looks toward Richard. Richard's wife notices and asks him why that girl keeps staring. Richard pretends not to know and claims he has no idea why she would look at him. Fourth course, memory. Now Julian brings his mother into the dining area. He shares a disturbing story from his childhood. He explains that his father used to physically abuse his mother. One day, his father tried to strangle her with a telephone cord. To save her, Julian stabbed his father in the leg with a pair of scissors. After telling this story, the fourth course is served. The dish is named Memory. It consists of grilled meat wrapped in telephone wire, with a pair of scissors stabbed into it, directly referencing his traumatic childhood memory. But the real shock comes next. Each guest's tortilla contains an image printed on it, something personal from their past. Richard's tortilla shows a picture of him with another woman. His wife immediately questions him about it. Richard awkwardly claims the restaurant staff must have randomly printed the image. The food critic's tortilla displays images of restaurants that were shut down after her harsh reviews. The movie actor's tortilla shows posters of his failed films. And the businessmen's tortillas reveal proof of their financial corruption and misuse of company funds. At this moment, the mood completely shifts. This is no longer just an expensive dinner. Each course is exposing secrets. Each plate is a public accusation. and it slowly becomes clear. Chef Julian did not invite these guests simply to serve them food. He invited them for something much darker. At the end, on Taylor's tortilla there was an image printed showing him taking photos of the dishes. It turned out he had kept snapping pictures of the food even after Elsa told him not to, and the staff had found out, so they deliberately stamped that picture on his tortillas. Seeing these tortillas makes it clear that Chef Julian and his team have thoroughly researched their guests in advance. This unsettles Margot, and she goes to the bathroom for a smoke. Looking out of the bathroom window, she notices one of Julian's men standing outside with angel wings on his back. Just then, Julian himself walks into the ladies' bathroom and asks who she is. Margot answers that her name is Margot. Hearing this, Julian says she does not belong there. Julian then says that one of his former assistants tried very hard but could never create dishes like his. He turns to Jeremy and asks if he is happy with his life. Jeremy replies that he is absolutely not happy. Immediately afterward, he shoots himself in the head. Watching him die leaves the guests in total shock, although some still assume it is all part of Julian's show and that Jeremy is only acting. When Richard tries to get up and leave, Elsa blocks his way. She calls over the other staff and has one of Richard's fingers cut off, right in front of everyone. This convinces the guests that nothing here is staged and that Jeremy really killed himself. Julian warns them that if anyone tries to escape, they will suffer something even worse than what happened to Richard. Taylor, however, remains unaffected and keeps calmly enjoying his food. After some time, Margot is informed that Julian wishes to speak with her. When she goes to meet him, he tells her that because of her he has had to change his entire plan. He reveals that every guest and every staff member present will die tonight. Since she has also come to this island, she will die as well. He gives her a choice. She must decide whether she wants to belong with the guests or with the staff and gives her 15 minutes to choose. Next, Julian addresses everyone and explains why each of them has been invited. Lillian and her editor, he says, got many restaurants shut down with their reviews. Richard and his wife have dined at this restaurant 11 times, yet they cannot recall the name of a single dish, showing they never truly valued Julian's food or his talent. John is there because, in Julian's early career, he had only one Sunday off each month, and on one such precious day he went to see John's film for entertainment. The movie was so terrible that Julian felt his one day of rest had been completely wasted. The restaurant's angel investor, whom the three businessmen know well, would constantly insist that Julian change his dishes whenever they came. In response, Julian has the investor, fitted with angel wings, slowly drowned in the sea, killing him. Julian remarks that their investor has now become a fallen angel. With his death, everyone realizes their own deaths are also inevitable, as Julian has no intention of sparing them. They understand that each of them, in different ways, has contributed to the chef's suffering, and he will not forgive them. Later, Margot meets Julian again and reveals her true identity. She admits she is a sex worker and that her real name is Erin, not Margot. Taylor had paid her to accompany him to the restaurant. Julian, who has noticed her repeatedly looking at Richard, asks whether she has also provided services to Richard. Erin says yes, which explains why Richard was so visibly uncomfortable and avoiding eye contact with her earlier. After hearing this, Julian starts treating Erin more like one of the staff, because in his view a chef's job is also to provide a form of service and satisfaction to the customer, just as she does. In the next scene, an assistant chef named Catherine tells everyone that 8 months earlier Julian tried to take advantage of her. She then stabs Julian in the thigh with a pair of scissors and announces that the next course is called Man's Folly, and that this dish will be served only to the women. Julian grants all the male guests one chance to run and escape, but adds one condition: if his staff catch them, they will be dragged back to the restaurant. Within minutes, the staff hunt down every male guest and return them. During this period, the women have already been served the Man's Folly dish, which Lillian and the others enjoy very much. After the men are seated again, Julian confronts Taylor. He says Taylor already knew what was going to happen tonight, yet still chose to bring Erin. Taylor explains that he had booked 2 seats in advance on receiving Julian's invitation, but later his girlfriend broke up with him. Under the restaurant's policy, a guest who has reserved 2 seats cannot come alone, so he paid Erin to accompany him. On hearing this, Erin slaps Taylor hard across the face. Julian then forces Taylor into the kitchen and orders him to cook a dish. Taylor produces a clumsy, poorly prepared plate that Julian finds utterly unacceptable. Julian humiliates him in front of everyone and leans in to whisper something in Taylor's ear, words so devastating that. Hearing Julian's whispered words, Taylor goes and takes his own life. It is implied Julian told him to kill himself, warning that if Julian were the one to end his life, the death would be far more painful, leaving Taylor feeling he had no choice. A short while later, Julian tells Elsa to hand Erin the key to the storeroom so she can bring back a barrel, because, now she is one of us. Erin takes the key and walks toward the storeroom but keeps going further, eventually reaching Julian's private quarters. There, Elsa suddenly attacks her from behind and tries to kill her. Erin fights back in self-defense and ends up killing Elsa instead. Afterward, Erin looks around Julian's office and sees many photos of him. In almost all of them he looks serious, tired, or unhappy. Only one old photograph shows him grinning sincerely, working at a small cheeseburger stand. From this she realizes that Julian never truly enjoyed life as a celebrity chef. In his restaurant he is forced to obsess over the artistic presentation of food, while in his heart he believes a chef's real job is simply to feed people, not to waste energy on extravagant plating and decorations. The relentless pressure to create perfect experiences has burned out Julian and his staff so badly that they now want to die along with the guests they blame for their misery. Using the radio equipment in Julian's office, Erin manages to contact the Coast Guard, sending out a message that they are all in danger. In response, a guard from the lighthouse arrives at the restaurant to check whether everything is all right. Seeing so many famous people and film actors, he gets excited and goes to John to ask for an autograph. John seizes the opportunity and writes "help" instead of his name. The guard then pulls a gun and points it at Julian, ordering him to raise his hands. For a moment, all the guests believe they are finally about to be saved. But when the guard pulls the trigger, only a flame comes out. The gun is actually just a lighter made to look like a weapon. Their last hope collapses instantly. Meanwhile, Erin has hardly eaten any of the elaborate courses all evening. Thinking quickly, she tells Julian she is hungry and asks him to cook something she can truly enjoy. Julian asks what she wants. Erin replies that she would like a simple cheeseburger and fries. She specifies that she does not want any fancy styling or decoration, just a straightforward, well-made burger. This request brings a faint, genuine smile to Julian's face. He gladly prepares a cheeseburger and fries for Erin, putting real care into it. After taking a few bites, Erin sincerely praises the burger, saying that this is what real food tastes like. Halfway through, she asks Julian if he can wrap up the rest to take home, explaining that she wants to eat the remainder later at home. Because Erin's appreciation is honest and heartfelt, Julian agrees and lets her have the burger packed to go. As she leaves, she places some money on the table as a tip. Julian is visibly moved. Erin has given him a brief chance to feel like the joyful cook he once was, serving simple, satisfying food to someone who genuinely values it. In his mind, this makes her different from the others, and so she will not share their fate. Once Erin has gone, Julian serves the final course to the remaining guests. He has various ingredients and garnishes spread out across the dining room floor like a twisted dessert landscape, then has the guests dressed in marshmallow vests and topped with chocolate elements, turning them into living s'mores. He then ignites the setup, and the entire room goes up in flames, killing all the guests and the loyal staff who choose to die with him. Outside, sailing away, Erin sees a massive explosion as the restaurant is consumed by fire. She understands that everyone inside is dead, but she feels no need to mourn them. Calmly, she continues eating the cheeseburger she took with her, finishing it in silence as she escapes safely. With that, this remarkable and disturbing story comes to an end. In the end, Chef Julian had created countless dishes, but almost no one truly remembered or respected them. People's bizarre demands and obsession with novelty had turned simple, honest food into something overcomplicated and hollow, stripping away its originality and soul. Julian therefore lured everyone who, in one way or another, had helped ruin his passion and career, and killed them, choosing to die alongside his staff so that the world would never forget him. Erin, however, survives because she cleverly asks for the kind of dish Julian used to cook in his early days and offers him genuine recognition. In doing so, she reconnects him, for a brief moment, with the pure joy of cooking, and that authenticity is what ultimately saves her life. And with this, the movie comes to an end. If you are new to the channel, then definitely subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, so that I keep getting motivation and I keep bringing the best videos for you all. Until then, bye.